Look, we're getting the classic graphic that they pull up every single year of George Gervin and David and Timmy all on the Riverwalk boat.
I miss the Riverwalk.
Pretty sure that's not what the Riverwalk boat looks like.
It's not. No, it's just their graphic version of it.
These guys never been to San Antonio in their life.
Oh my gosh. I think the last time I went to the Riverwalk probably
Pre-housing crisis.
like a year ago. I don't know.
I haven't
Can't
been in a
remember.
long time, dude.
I know for sure I went before the Alamo Dome game because we hung out there before we went. But there was another time I went after that. But yeah, Riverwalk is always good vibes.
Yeah, if you go at the right time.
Right. No, that's very true.
You
I'm talking about when it's chill and you can just go with like a group of people.
Shout out Gorgie Jang on the camera right now in the Spurs room. You
Where
see
is
him? Front and center.
I don't think that's. Oh, there he is. Oh my
Yeah, he's
gosh.
right in the middle. Yeah,
I
he's
saw
right
the
there.
other. I was looking at the guy past him, but let's see who the Spurs pick.
Here we go. Here we go. There it is.
Spurs pick Stephon Castle at number 4. Look at his fit, Ethan.
Oh, dude, he's fitted out.
And he's got the castle chain. I didn't even realize that.
I just saw that too. That's
he
crazy.
Knew, bruh. He was in the silver and black. It was so obvious the suit. I hate to say it.
Yeah, look at him, bro. That's our guy. That's our man.
I wish I had more to say about him, Ethan, but we've already talked about him so much.
Yeah, this is exactly what we predicted in the last video. Not to toot our own horn, but I think a lot of people had us taking Castle at 4.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, this is great.
Mad love. Welcome to San Antonio, Stephon. We love you. Welcome.
The future point guard.
Our boy Lou is in here, and he had Stephon Castle as his number 1 player on his big board. And he really kind of opened our eyes to a lot of different things about Stephon. There were a lot of things we liked about him beforehand, but talking with Lou really kind of opened our eyes on that. So big shout out to him, because we probably wouldn't have been as high on him as we were, if it wasn't for all the information that he gave us.
First UConn player to win Big East Freshman of the Year since Rudy Gay, another Spurs connection that we hadn't made prior to this. So, yeah, and agreed with everything that you just said about Lou. Saucy Takes in the comments. If y'all go check out his channel, his Twitter, puts out some great content, especially about the draft. Miami Heat fan. Hopefully he has a good night like the Spurs are about to have. But yeah, this is the guy that ideally will be the point guard next to Victor Wembanyama, the franchise, for the foreseeable future, hopefully a long time. His defensive upside, we've talked about it at length. His versatility, immediately an upgrade at that point guard spot as far as defense is concerned. Sure, there's concerns about can he be a traditional playmaker. I think he'll prove all of those guys wrong. Yeah, just does whatever it takes to win. Very, very excited to have him on the team.
So a little bit more information that I have actually recently found out over the past week or so, just since our last stream, or maybe I found out before but just forgot to mention it. So I was listening to No Ceilings final mock draft. They've done a ton of final mock drafts, but it was Tyler Rucker and Tyler Metcalf's specifically their show, their final mock draft. And the thing that they were talking about on Stephon that I did not know about, apparently when he was in high school, he was not that great of a defender. That was not something that was a strength of his. And they were just talking about the jump that he had. Obviously, being in UConn, being coached by Dan Hurley is going to do a lot there. But the jump that he had defensively from this past season to the next year, when they were talking about that, that's something that really gave me a lot of hope for his shooting. On top of the fact that, as we've talked about, that shooting can be taught. I forget who it was on NBA TV, but I was watching a pre-draft show before the ESPN draft coverage came on at 6:30, and he was basically just making that same point. If there's someone who's a dog, they go out there and whether it's defensive versatility, and he wasn't talking about Stephon here, it was some other player comp, but it was the same reasoning. But with that being said, Ethan, let me stop because Stephon's getting interviewed.
Yeah, let's take a look.
There's Dan Hurley.
Championship pedigree, yeah.
Look at this suit, dude.
Yeah, the suit's crazy. The sparkly suit.
The
I like that
colors.
answer.
He knew.
I like that answer. It's about winning. Shout out Dan Hurley one time.
Future coach? Question mark.
Oh yeah, maybe. Oh, he hugged his boy Donovan Clingan. I didn't see that.
This guy is just scratching the surface.
Perfect player for the perfect team. That's great.
Oh my goodness, Ethan. Last episode, and I know I made my big board, but it wasn't. You really did convince me, and it's not even just because of our division. And I've been talking about our division a lot and been using SGA. I don't know what I thought, dude. That the Thunder are not in our division.
You just think they are because they're so close to us. But yeah,
And it goes back to the Supersonics thing. They're in the Pacific Northwest because they moved from there. But right. And they still are in our conference. We're gonna have to see them in the playoffs. So that still applies. Same with somebody like Anthony Edwards. But man, I just feel like at the end of over this past week, and I know it's like, oh, you're changing your opinion, all that stuff, but I think Stephon does have a higher ceiling than Reed, and it just comes down to the physical traits. Because if he can get down, like if he can improve the shooting like he improved his defense, and that was another detail, like when I heard that, I'm like, man, like it just gives me a lot of confidence in him to develop in other areas. And the answer that he just gave too, like I learned how to win at UConn. And then you tie that into what Lou said when he told us, he wasn't guaranteed anything. He wasn't guaranteed to be a point guard. He had to play the wing. He was coming, into a team that was bringing back most of the roster of a national championship team. And now he's going to get to play the position he wants. And we're going to have somebody who can go guard Luka Doncic, and Jeremy Sohan doesn't have to guard all of the big guards anymore.
Right. I think that's a great point to talk about just the matchup defense that we're going to have an opportunity to combat with all the tall guards in the West. But just speaking as a connective unit now, like there's still the gaping hole at the small forward position. Assuming we have Keldon off the bench, that makes Julian Champagnie our current starting small forward. And he's a solid defender, but he's nothing crazy. Right. But if we have Castle, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama. Those are now 4 guys that can switch. 4 guys that can basically guard 1 through 5 at times. Or Devin maybe just 1 through 3. But you know what I'm trying to say. So it alleviates some of the pressure off of Jeremy and Victor, who are no longer just the elite defenders on our team. Now we have an extra one. And if we can shore up that small forward spot, I'll be through the roof.
I completely agree. Shout out Tim Harris in the comments. Says, much rather listen to you guys than Stephen A. Smith anytime.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Gotta love that.